Countless people who regularly make dua report feeling a profound sense of peace and better mental health. But is this just a feeling, a placebo effect of faith? Or is something deeper, something biological, happening inside our minds? Many of us are wrestling with a constant hum of anxiety, a relentless cycle of overthinking, and a feeling of being disconnected in our hyperstimulated world. We feel it, we live it. But what if the answer wasn't just about faith, but also about physiology? What if the ancient sacred act of dua, of simply raising your hands and speaking to your Creator, has the power to physically change your brain? Let's explore the surprising science that reveals how this timeless practice can literally rewire your neural pathways for a more peaceful, focused, and purposeful life. Before we get into brain scans and neuroscience, let's just talk about the feeling. Making dua is one of the most vulnerable and human things we can do. It's that quiet moment, maybe late at night when everything is still, where you just pour out your heart. You give words to your deepest fears, your most fragile hopes, your gratitude, and your sorrows. This act of supplication is a powerful outlet for emotion. It's a direct conversation with the divine, a moment of real connection that can bring an immediate sense of relief. Psychologically, this makes total sense. It's a form of emotional release that can reduce stress, anxiety, and feelings of depression. Think about it. Therapy often involves just talking through our inner world with someone we trust. Dua is like a therapeutic dialogue with the ultimate listener, the one who knows our pain before we even speak it. It's a space where we feel completely seen and heard without judgment. This act reassures us that we aren't alone in our struggles. It builds hope and shifts our perspective, reminding us that even when things feel overwhelming, there is a higher wisdom and a divine plan. This feeling of being heard and understood is the very foundation for the deeper biological changes to come. So what is actually happening inside our heads on a biological level? How does an act of faith translate into a measurable physical change in our brains? The answer is in a remarkable process called neuroplasticity. Think of your brain less like a fixed, hardwired machine and more like clay or a muscle. It can be molded, shaped, and trained by your thoughts and experiences. Every time you have a thought, a specific group of neurons fires together. The more often you have that thought, the stronger their connection becomes. This is how habits, good and bad, are formed. Dua, especially when it becomes a regular practice, is basically a workout for your brain. It actively strengthens certain neural pathways while weakening others. Leading neuroscientists, like Dr. Andrew Newberg at the Jefferson Myrna Brine Center, have spent years studying the brains of people in prayer and meditation. His research using advanced brain scans is fascinating. He found that focused, contemplative prayer activates the brain's frontal lobes. This is your brain's command center, the part responsible for focus, planning, and emotional regulation. When you engage in deep, concentrated dua, you are literally strengthening your ability to focus and manage your emotions with greater calm. At the same time, while the frontal lobes light up, prayer has been shown to decrease activity in the parietal lobes. This is the part of the brain that creates our sense of self in relation to the world around us. Quieting this area can lead to that profound feeling of oneness, or losing yourself in a moment of spiritual connection, a feeling many people describe during heartfelt prayer. The changes go even deeper, right down to your brain waves and body chemistry. Studies using EEG, which measures electrical activity in the brain, have found that prayer and meditation can increase alpha brain waves. Alpha waves are linked to a state of relaxed, wakeful alertness, not sleepy, but calmly focused. Interestingly, one study on Muslim prayer, or salah, found that these alpha waves spiked significantly during the prostration, sajda phase, suggesting a deep state of relaxation and parasympathetic activation in that moment of ultimate submission. This state of calm directly impacts your body's stress response. Prayer has been shown to help tame the amygdala, the brain's alarm system or fear center. A calmer amygdala means lower levels of the stress hormone, cortisol. This is huge. Chronically high cortisol is tied to a whole list of modern health problems, from anxiety and weight gain to heart disease. One study published in the Journal of Medicine and Life on the effects of Islamic prayer found that participants with high stress-induced cortisol levels saw their levels significantly decrease after prayer, moving toward a healthier balance. If you're finding this connection between ancient faith and modern science as incredible as I do, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. We're dedicated to exploring these profound intersections that can help us live more integrated and meaningful lives. The idea that prayer can rebalance your stress hormones is already profound, but some research suggests it could go even further, to your very gene expression. Now, to be clear, this doesn't mean prayer changes your DNA itself. We're talking about a field called epigenetics, which looks at how our behaviors and environment can influence which of our genes are switched on or off. While research directly on DUA is still emerging, studies on other meditative practices have found fascinating effects. For instance, some research has shown that mindfulness can down-regulate pro-inflammatory genes. This means practices like DUA could potentially help reduce inflammation in the body, a key driver of many chronic diseases. It is a revolutionary concept. Your spiritual state could have a direct molecular impact on your physical health. The act of supplication isn't just a psychological comfort, it's an event that can send ripples through your entire biological system. Beyond the neurological impact, the very act of making a dua builds a powerful psychological framework for hope and resilience. When you're overwhelmed by a problem, your thoughts can feel like a chaotic storm. Just putting that problem into words for God forces you to structure your thoughts. It externalizes the worry, gives it a shape, and makes it feel more manageable. It's the difference between a formless, terrifying shadow and an object you can actually look at. This process directly impacts what psychologists call your locus of control. When you feel helpless, it's easy to believe your life is controlled by outside forces. Dua helps shift this. By turning to Allah, you are taking an active step. You re-acknowledging the problem, but also affirming your belief in a solution and in a power greater than your troubles. This act of surrendering your burden doesn't create passivity. It creates what you might call an empowered surrender. You do your part, and you trust Allah with the outcome. This cultivates patience, humility, and profound emotional resilience. This may be why so many people of faith feel their prayers are answered, reinforcing their trust in a divine timeline and wisdom. It isn't always about getting exactly what you asked for, in the exact way you wanted. Sometimes the answer to the DUA is not a change in your circumstances, but the change that happens within you. The strength you develop, the peace you feel, the new perspective you gain, that is often the most powerful answer of all. So that feeling of peace and clarity that so many people report after making dua, it's not just in your head, it's in your brain cells, your hormonal balance, and your electrical frequencies. It's a real, measurable, physiological event. Dua is not a passive act of wishing. It is an active process of transformation. It is a form of spiritual mindfulness that sharpens your focus by engaging your frontal lobes. It is a biological calming agent, increasing your alpha waves and helping to regulate your stress hormones. And it is an exercise in neuroplasticity, strengthening the neural pathways of hope, gratitude, and resilience with every single prayer. The ancient wisdom of our faith is not at odds with modern science. Instead, science is finally starting to provide the vocabulary for what people of faith have known and felt for centuries. The act of turning to our Creator is the most powerful tool we have for rewiring our minds and healing our hearts. Tonight, when you make dua, don't just say the words, feel them. Understand that you are engaging in a sacred dialogue that is actively changing you from the inside out. You are not just asking for a better life, you are building one prayer at a time. What has your own experience been with the power of dua? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. They are a source of inspiration for all of us. And for more content that bridges the gap between our deen and our daily lives, be sure to watch the next video. Thank you for watching.